We are closely watching the escalating wildfire emergency in Western Canada. At least 4,000 people have fled their homes in northern Saskatchewan. Flames are spreading aggressively, threatening communities and roadways. These are images of the wildfire in Candle Lake. We're also tracking fires burning in Alberta and Manitoba, where communities are also seeing evacuation orders. This map here gives you an overall picture of the wildfire situation around the country. The CBC's Alexander Silberman is in Regina tracking all the developments.
Well, Andrew, fires are rapidly spreading across the north under these incredibly hot and dry conditions. There's currently 17 active fires in northern Saskatchewan, 10 of those burning out of control, not able to be contained by firefighting crews on the ground. There are currently thousands of residents and workers in the north that have been forced to evacuate in more than a dozen communities. The largest of those is Pelican Narrows in the province's northwest, where more than 4,000 residents have been forced to flee their homes after fires approach that community. There's also two other areas of concern as well I'd like to point out. There's evacuations impacting the community of Hall Lake and a number of communities as part of the Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation. A big area of concern as well is these two fires north of Prince Albert, the Shoe and Camp fires. Those are now one fire. They merged, creating a larger fire, one giant fire, and that forced the evacuation of some firefighting crews on the ground that were at a staging zone in between the two fires. 280 staff, both firefighting crews and support workers on the ground there, forced to flee, head further south, and the staging area that they had set up was completely burned and destroyed. So the situation on the ground very quickly evolving for both residents and for the firefighting crews battling these fires in the north.
And now in Manitoba, Premier Wab Kinew and officials have given an update on the situation there next door. What did we learn?
Well, we heard some pretty staggering numbers, Andrew, around the total area that's been burned in Manitoba so far this year. Manitoba is the province that has seen the most fire activity. That means the largest total area that's been burned so far this season. And we heard wildfire officials there say the area that's been burned in Manitoba in 1 month since the start of May is nearly triple the total, the average area burned in an entire fire season, looking at the average over the past 5 years. So things in that province far beyond the average, only a month into the wildfire season. We also heard an update as well about a couple of areas of concern in Manitoba. The first of those, Lynn Lake, it's a community of about 600 people in the northwest of the province, currently under an evacuation order since yesterday morning as residents were asked to leave the community by the town. We also heard as well an update about a fire burning near Flin Flon. This is actually a fire that started on the Saskatchewan side of the border, grew very quickly under those dry conditions with lots of fuel on the ground. Officials there weren't able to contain it, and it spread over the border into Manitoba, now currently threatening the community of Flin Flon, a town of about 5,000 people, where we're seeing some pretty striking images of just how close those flames are as the fire is advancing. They're currently under an evacuation alert, so not told to evacuate yet, but residents are advised to get ready in case it does reach that stage in the coming hours. We also heard as well a warning, a call rather from the province's premier, Wab Kinew, urging people not to fly drones anywhere near fires. And we heard that someone did that in the case of the Flin Flon fire, and it forced crews there to ground water bombers that were trying to fight the blaze. Have a listen to what the premier had to say on that.
No drones. Like, getting some views on YouTube is not worth it. You got a community of thousands of people who's on the verge of evacuation, and one of the reasons is because we couldn't fly water bombers in the area. And, you know, putting your drone up there and getting a video that you can share is simply not worth it. You have to put the good of the community ahead of your own interests right now. You should probably do so at all times, but especially right now.
So the Premier there reminding people to not fly drones anywhere near a fire zone. Let the crews on the ground continue to do their work without any sort of disturbance in the air or on the ground. And of course, reminders to respect any roads that are closed as well. Listen to these updates from emergency officials. There's also a number of fires burning over in Alberta, Andrew. The largest of those under the biggest area of concern, rather, would be the Swan Hills fire. This is about 220 kilometers northwest of Edmonton. People in that community have been under an evacuation order for the past couple of days. There's about 1,300 residents in that area that have been forced to flee further south. They're now in the community of Whitecourt as they're waiting to see what might happen to their homes and when they might be able to return. So lots of fire activity right across the prairies right now. And we're hearing from fire officials that there's just so much fuel on the ground with this dry brush that's out there, a lack of precipitation. It's creating for some very difficult conditions for crews as they try and contain these fires and stop them from spreading. Andrew?
The CBC's Alexander Silberman in Regina. As the wildfire situation worsens in Manitoba, the Northern Health Region says it plans to relocate some patients. In a statement on social media, officials say they are acting out of an abundance of caution. The statement says to prioritize the safety and continued care of our patients, Northern Health Region has made the decision to proactively relocate higher acuity patients out of the community of Flin Flon. Current programs and services offered by the Northern Health Region in Flin Flon facilities will continue normal operations at this time.